One thing I love about the diminished scale is that once you learn it, you can use one part and the other part mirrors what you just learned. Let me explain what I mean. Let's take a look at the sixth diminished scale. So the sixth diminished scale is just like the major scale. So we'll take in C, right? You know, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Same exact thing except for this. Okay, the sixth diminished scale turns that 7-tone scale, which is C major, into an 8-tone scale. So there's a chromatic pass between the G and the A, or the 5th and the 6th, hence the name sixth diminished. So we can also use or talk about the minor sixth diminished. So your minor sixth diminished is a lot like you can look at it two ways. You can say it's the melodic minor with that A flat in it, or the major sixth diminished scale with an E flat in it. Either way will work. The only difference between the major sixth diminished and the minor sixth diminished is that minor third, giving you minor, major third giving you major. There's a lot of things we can actually use with that sixth diminished scale because it gives us a lot of options. And it takes the major scale, which is unbalanced, it's 4 and 3 or 5 and 2, but now you have 4 and 4. They're 8 tones because it's binary, or you can look at it as being symmetrical. Okay, so you're either going to have 1 and 1, which is 2, or 4 and 4, 8, or 3 and 3 is 6, or 4.5 and 4.5. But that's a different topic for a different time. Now, when we're looking at this diminished sixth scale, the first chord we're going to have here is a minor chord with a sixth added to it. So it's a minor sixth chord. The second chord, what we can do, the second chord, we can actually use it. It'll give us a D minor 7 chord, but that's not what we're looking at. We're just looking at the two chords that we can actually use from it, because remember, it's going to be binary. The two chords really are the minor chord and the diminished 7th chord. So what we're going to do, we're just going to play through each tone. So the first one would give us the C minor 6th. The second one, the D diminished 7th, C minor 6 inverted, F diminished 7th or D diminished 7th inverted, C minor 6th, diminished 7th again. All right, now we have C minor 6th again. Finally, B diminished 7th, and then we start right back to home again. So there are other chords you can use, but because it's symmetrical, we can actually stick with that and play everything diatonically, everything within that actual scale without actually leaving it. You can apply this several different ways, but of course you want to be able to apply it with something that you're likely to play, like gospel music. Now we can actually use this and several other scales, but this particular scale does it so well. It outlines it so well, you would think that it was made for it. Now what I'm about to play is very, very popular. This chord progression has been done multiple times. So the first chord that we have, we're going to do this, all right? And I'll play it, it's going to be in G major. We could play it pretty much whatever key we land on that's major, but because I'm going to do the C diminished 6th, minor diminished 6th, I'm going to show you something. So let's illustrate it like this. So we'll illustrate it like this. I'm sure you've heard that before a million times. Now, what we did was just invert the scale that we used. We just, instead of starting just from 1, 2, minor 3 and all that, we went right to the 6. All right, the 6 would be a 2 for G. So, all right, and just kind of hang out there. And this over here is not a part of that, but it works because we're playing it in the key of G. So we have that F sharp there. All right, so essentially that's all we're doing. A in the bass, and the next chord is diminished, and the C minor 6th, all right, and then we keep it there, C minor 6, because we have that 6 there, A, and go right back to the G over the D. Very simple. You can think of a bunch of ways to actually use that scale and not have to worry so much about memorizing a whole set of chords, which you're going to play in your left hand, your right hand. You're going to dislocate your pinky. There's all these things that you don't have to worry about so much. Once you start learning the magic of scales, you begin to realize that you don't have to learn a lot of chords, and it'll speed up your learning because you can take what you learn and apply it different places. This is because all the chords you'll ever play are going to come from some type of scale. For more goodies like this, check out my free guide at gospelprogressionsuniversity.com/gospelkeyspro. God bless you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.